Hello and welcome, history enthusiasts. Today, we will be talking about one of the most crucial battles of World War II, the Battle for Moscow. This battle was a turning point in the war and marked the first time the Germans were defeated on the Eastern Front. The Soviet Union fought valiantly to defend its capital from Nazi Germany. In this video, we will explore the tactics used by both sides, the consequences of the battle, and the impact it had on the rest of the war. So, buckle up and get ready to discover the fascinating story of the Battle for Moscow. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. And if you enjoy our content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments section below. The Battle for Moscow was one of the most significant and crucial battles fought during World War II. It was a battle that would determine the fate of the Soviet Union and the rest of Europe. The Soviet Union knew that if Moscow fell, then the Nazis would have control over the entire country. Therefore, it was imperative for the Soviet Union to defend its capital from the onslaught of Nazi Germany. The Battle of Moscow began on October 2, 1941, when German forces launched an all-out assault on the city. They were met with fierce resistance from the Soviet Union's Red Army. The Germans had underestimated the strength and determination of the Soviet Union, and they were ill-prepared for the brutal winter that awaited them. The Soviet Union had a massive advantage in terms of manpower, with over 1 million soldiers defending the city. They also had a significant advantage in terms of technology, with superior tanks and artillery. The Soviet Union had carefully planned out their defenses and had built a series of fortifications around the city that would make it difficult for the Germans to penetrate. However, the Germans were not ones to be underestimated. They had a highly trained army, and their commanders were some of the best in the world. They had also developed new tactics and technologies that would give them an edge over the Soviet Union. The Germans had perfected the use of blitzkrieg, which was a lightning-fast attack that would overwhelm their opponents before they had a chance to respond. The Germans managed to make significant gains during the early stages of the battle. They pushed the Red Army back and were within striking distance of Moscow. However, they soon discovered that the Soviet Union was not going to be an easy opponent to defeat. The Soviet Union's soldiers were highly motivated and were willing to fight to the death to defend their capital. The Battle for Moscow was fought in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. The winter of 1941 was one of the coldest on record, and the soldiers on both sides had to endure freezing temperatures, snowstorms, and blizzards. The soldiers had to fight in conditions that made it difficult to move and impossible to maintain their equipment. Despite the daunting conditions, the Soviet Union managed to turn the tide of the battle. They launched a surprise counterattack that caught the Germans off guard. The Soviet Union's soldiers used their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage and were able to launch a successful offensive that pushed the Germans back. The Battle of Moscow was a turning point in the war. The Soviet Union's victory showed that they were not going to be defeated easily, and it gave the Soviet Union the confidence they needed to continue fighting. It also showed the rest of the world that the Soviet Union was a force to be reckoned with and that they were not to be underestimated. In conclusion, the Battle for Moscow was one of the most significant battles of World War II. It was a battle that would determine the fate of the Soviet Union and the rest of Europe. The Soviet Union's victory in the battle showed that they were a force to be reckoned with and gave them the confidence they needed to continue fighting. The battle was fought in some of the harshest conditions imaginable, but the Soviet Union's soldiers were able to overcome the odds and emerge victorious.